Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is an exciting day because we received our Earthy Delights Pawpaw fruit order. And so I thought I would do an unboxing video and then talk a little bit about the fruit and do a taste test at the end. So this is, to get to the particulars first, this is 13 pounds of pawpaws. When you order them from Earthy Delights, you order them in quantities of 10 pounds or 3 pounds. So I ordered 110 and 3, so 13 total. I talked to the lady from the company last week. She actually called me to say, can I package them all together? So in speaking with her, I learned that these are all cultivated varieties. They don't sell any wild ones, any foraged ones. They're all from farms, and so that's kind of good to know, actually. Get a little information, pack it in there in the packaging, but you don't know what variety they are, you just know they're cultivated varieties. And as you can see in the taste test portion later in the video, it's a mixed bag. There's they're all different kinds, but they're all good, so that's a good thing. So packaging is done really well. There's kind of a thermal layer on the top. These are really cold because they were shipped overnight. That's just the way, there's the ice pack there. Each of these layers has an ice pack in it, which is nice. Then the fruit are packaged in two fruit for each of these styrofoam envelopes. And so pawpaw fruit, one of the things when you order it through the mail, it's hard to find places that will ship them because, as you can see, it's a lot of work to pack this order. Somebody went through and just meticulously packed these, 2 per styrofoam envelope. Sometimes there's like 3 if they're little small ones, 3 or 4 of them, but they're not stacked on top of each other. In other words, the fruit are not stacked on top of other fruit, which is very important for pawpaws because they're very soft. They're very soft and delicate, and so they can bruise easily. You can see right there that one is really ripe and it's kind of soft and indents easily. So that's an important piece. We'll move to the second layer here, and you can see also packed very well. But a lot of time and effort goes into packing them and shipping them. So in terms of what I paid, I ordered 13 pounds. I paid a total of about $260. About $170 of it was the fruit, and $90 was shipping. Now, $90 for shipping is pretty crazy, but then again, we used to drive all the way to York, Pennsylvania, and that's about a 6-hour drive from where we are by Buffalo, New York, and so it would be probably $90 in gas just to get there and back, plus the time. So when you think of that way, it doesn't seem so bad. Here's another ice pack. So each layer has one of these ice packs in it. So it doesn't seem so bad, when you think of it in that way. The fruit itself was about $15 a pound, So it's expensive. There's no getting around it. But Earthy Delights is about the only place that I've found that will ship pawpaw fruit anymore. A lot of the smaller places, especially this year with that late frost, they just don't have the fruit. But a lot of people look at all the work that went into packing this. For a lot of people, they just don't want to deal with it. And I really don't blame them myself. I probably wouldn't want to do it either. Because imagine the time and effort, energy, packing material. Yes, you're making $15 a pound, but at a certain point, it's almost not worth their time if they can sell them locally. So a lot of places just won't ship, and that's the reason why. You're seeing it in front of you here. But this company does a great job. And as I mentioned, I talked to the lady last week from the company who I think she must be in charge of at least the shipping component. And she said they've been shipping pawpaws for over 25 years. So they've been doing this for a long time. And they're about the only place that I've ever found that does it. So they can kind of name their own price. As I'm making this video on a Tuesday, they already sold out their first big rush in just a couple of days. So if you're watching this video and you want to get some from Earthy Delights, I would recommend go to their website, go to their Facebook page, watch it like a hawk, and as soon as they're available, order them immediately because these things sell really fast. And this year, 2023, has been a very difficult year for pawpaws because of that late frost. That's the only reason I'm ordering them, is all 6 of our trees that were probably going to get fruit, at least 3 or 4 of them, got hit with that hard frost when they were loaded with blossoms and no fruit this year. So I'm hoping this is kind of a one-time deal for us, but it's a good consolation prize for sure because these look like pretty good fruit and certainly packed very nicely. I don't know if I mentioned earlier in the video, but these are a variety of different cultivars. they have no way of knowing what they are. They just, farmers bring them in large loads and drop them off, so they're all mixed. Some are Peterson ones, some are cultivated but seedlings, but none of them are wild foraged. The company said that they do not sell any wild foraged fruit because the quality is just suspect. And you know, that's true with apples or any other wild fruit too. Some of them are really good, some of them are really iffy. So pawpaws are really not any different than any other fruit in that way. But the cultivated ones, you know, are going to be your much better bet than wild foraged, generally speaking. As I said, 13 pounds. I counted the fruit. We got 40 individual fruit. Some are big, some are small. So all different sizes. So it's an average, you know, of like 1/3 of a pound-ish per fruit. Of course, some are bigger than that, some are smaller than that, but pretty good. Also, as I'm going through, one thing that I noticed, and also one thing that the person from the company said to me, is they like to ship them in various stages of ripeness, which is a really cool thing, because if they were all super ripe right now, you'd have to eat 40 pawpaws in like a few days, which, you know, for me, that's too much. See, look at that one. That's super, super ripe. We're going to taste test that one at the end of the video. I love pawpaws, but I can only eat a couple of them a day. They're just too intense, I guess, to eat more than that at one time. For me, your mileage may vary, but I like to stretch them out and enjoy them too. You know, I don't want to eat all of them in a couple days and have no more, because this is probably all we're going to get this year, obviously, with the shortages and the cost. So those right there you can see are super duper ripe. We're going to eat those at the end of this video. But all in all, I'm really happy with the packaging. I mean, yes, you're going to pay top dollar, but you're getting a really good quality product. So it's, you know, if you really want pawpaws, you got to pay the price. And if you have any land, if you have room in your yard and you like pawpaws, plant them, because talk about a cost-effective crop to plant and grow, because if you're paying $15 a pound plus shipping to get these things, it's something you want in your backyard, where you plant that tree, it's going to live 50, 60, 70 years and produce all the pawpaws you can eat. So, but yeah, these look really nice. Very happy about them, very excited. So in terms of when you get these, I'm going to just, there's the other ice pack, I'm just going to leave them on the counter for a few days until they all start to soften up and ripen, and then I'll put them all in the refrigerator. You don't want to leave them out too long, because if they get super, super ripe, then they're going to go quick. They're just like a banana in that way. You know, the bananas will sit there, they start to get a little speckly, then all of a sudden, before you know it, they're black. I don't like pawpaws when they get like that personally, but when they do get like that, they don't have long before they're just rotten. So when you start to notice them getting soft, then it's a good time to stick them in the fridge. So leave them on the counter when they're a little firm. They will start to soften up if they're developed, and all these look developed enough. And then once they start to soften up some, then put them in the refrigerator until you're ready to eat them. So here's the entire order right here, all put together in one place. Really nice. I mean, and honestly, very good quality and very similar to what we used to get at the festival. Some of these are a little firm, so I'm a little worried, but they smell good. And so as long as they smell good, even if they're firm, they're probably going to be just fine. Like that one there is nice and soft. We're going to cut that up and eat it in a minute here, and you'll get to see. But even the firm ones, like that one's a little firm, but it smells really nice. So it'll soften up on the counter in about a week or so. And so like I said, having some that are ready now, some that are ready next week or in a week and a half, that's exactly what you want. Okay, so let's start taste testing a couple of these. As I said, I don't know what kind they are, but we'll slice this one open. It's really ripe. Now you see that jelly look right there? That's sort of like gelatinous look on the side. That's never a good sign to me, but we're going to taste it and find out if this is the exception. My camera died there. I had to switch the batteries out. So here's what it looks like. Now this one is really good. It tastes, there's zero bitterness at all. So I was expecting it, because like wild pawpaws, when we get them, a lot of times they have like a bitterness to them when they look like that. This one is fantastic. Bubblegum, it's got that bubblegum juicy fruit kind of flavor. So really tasty. That's the major thing that sticks out to that one, or in that one. So we'll take a look at some of the other ones here in a second. So here's a few other ones that are nice and ripe. Let's cut this big one, see what we got here. Oh, that looks good. It's always a good sign when you see that color And look, when you squeeze it, it's just like pudding. So let's take a taste, see what we got here. I prefer just spooning. Now when you spoon them, be careful not to eat the skin. You don't want to do that. So look at that, looks like pudding. This one is fantastic. This is an A+. This might actually be the best pawpaw I've ever eaten. Not to be dramatic or anything, but that one, fantastic. Let's cut this other one. We'll come back to that one as well. The camera kept dying in between here with the batteries, but the second one is a lot firmer. As I said, these are all different varieties, so who knows what they are. They're good. This one is a lot stronger flavor. The flesh is a little bit firmer. I like the firm flesh ones too. This one is really, really good though. But I got to go back to this one. Look at that molten pudding like. That is an epic, epic pawpaw. I don't know what kind it is, but I'm saving those seeds. So that's another thing. When you get fruit you really like, save the seeds. All you gotta do is wash them, throw them in the fridge in a plastic bag, plant them in the spring, and you're gonna have a pawpaw tree. Ooh, this one's really white inside, so really different. Now my experience with white ones is they often have that bubblegum flavor I really like, so let's see if this is true. Maybe it's an Allegheny. Allegheny can be sort of whitish. That is good. That actually is very, very bubblegummy, vanilla-y, really cool. So even though it's a small little pawpaw, the taste is fantastic. When they're small like that, be careful not to eat the skin. I've done that, and it can bother your stomach a little bit if you eat the skin accidentally. All it takes is a little bit, so just be careful not to eat the skin. Or obviously, don't eat the seeds, but I don't think anyone would eat the seeds anyway. So back to this one, that's kind of the firmer texture one. Really, really strong pawpaw flavor, but none of these three pawpaws, actually none of the four that we tasted for this video, none of them have any bitterness at all. They're just delicious. Really, really nice flavors, and all different variety of flavors are just kind of fun. The one is bubblegum, but that one is the 8. That, I don't know, there's no pawpaw I've ever had that tastes like that. That's really good, whatever that is. So when you find one like that, set the seeds aside in their own package, and that way you know. So here's all the fruit after our taste test that we didn't eat. So I put them in kind of like the left is the more firm, the right is the more soft, and so that way I kind of have them segregated. I'll put them on the counter, and then eat a couple each day. When they start to get soft, then if you can't eat them that day, just stick them in the fridge, and they will last for you for a good week or two before you eat them. So thank you for watching. If you're going to order from Earthy Delights and get them, I would do it very, very soon as they're available. And just be aware that it's very difficult to get pawpaws through the mail. So if you find a place that's going to do it and you think you want them, jump on that opportunity and order them when you can. And that's a good short-term solution, but long-term, if you're a fan of pawpaws, you've really got to grow your own trees. I mean, they're a great tree to grow. They're easy to grow. I mean, people sometimes think that they're like this mystical, difficult thing. Once you get those things going, they will grow like a weed. Remember, they're a native plant in North America. Unlike apples, unlike pears, unlike peaches, these are native. They don't need a ton of sprays. They don't need a ton of pampering and care. If you give them pampering and care, then they will enjoy it, but they will grow. So save the seeds from your fruits if you get some fruits. Put them in a plastic bag in the fridge. So clean the seeds off first just so they don't mold. Put them in a plastic bag in the fridge. That'll keep them moist all winter. They have to stratify. That's why you put them in the fridge, not the freezer. The refrigerator. Stick them in the back, put them in your crisper drawer or whatever. When it gets to spring, you can stick them right in the ground and they will grow. You can stick them in a pot and sprout them into a little tree and then plant that tree in the ground. I've done both. They both work really well. I like to sprout them myself because then I know I've got a tree where I planted it. Seeds, you never know. Squirrels could dig them up or they might not come up or whatever. But there's a pretty good germination rate if they're cold stratified well. So do that. If you have some property, stick a whole bunch of seeds. You can cold stratify a whole bunch of seeds. Each pawpaw has 7-8 seeds maybe. Some are smaller, some are bigger, obviously. But you can cold stratify those seeds, and then you can just go dig holes in the edge of the woods, right where like the woods end and it starts to get kind of like half shade, half sun, and right at the edge of a tree line is a great place. You could just stick 50 seeds in a line along a tree line every 8 feet or so. and they will come up and they will grow. And animals generally don't hurt them. I mean, deer may nibble them. But, hey, if it's a bunch of seeds and you stick them in the woods, if 50% of them grow, then that's great. You were going to maybe throw those seeds away anyway. If you sprout them, of course, later on in the tree's life, you can graft them to a known variety. There's a lot of places you can get scion wood from. So it's a great tree to grow. And, although they are an unusual fruit, as you probably know if you're watching this video, they are becoming more and more known. They used to be very known. I mean, there's that children's song, Picking Up the Pawpaws, Put Them in My Pocket, right? So they used to be a very well-known fruit, and they're sort of coming back around again. Everything old is new again, and so it's one of those things that as the demand is more and more and more, the supply takes a long time to catch up with these. You can plant an apple tree, and if you use a dwarf variety and a good rootstock, you can maybe get a crop in year 3. But pawpaws, they're going to take 5 or 6 or 7 years. So even if today you planted a 1,000-tree orchard or something, if it's a seedling, it might be 10 years if you plant a little seed in the ground. If you plant an actual 2-3-year-old tree that you order online, it's still going to be probably 4 or 5 years, but those years are going to pass anyway, and in 5 years you're going to have a beautiful, beautiful pawpaw tree that, and you're going to want more than one so they can pollinate each other. But you'll be in a good supply of fruit. Now there'll be years like this year where we get that crazy late frost, and that just happens with any fruit. But in general, you'll have a lifetime supply of pawpaws. Once you get a few pawpaw trees going and mature and fruiting, they're such a productive tree. They're such a cool fruit. And obviously cost effective to grow too, because they're expensive to buy. So anyway, thank you again for watching. If you have any questions about the pawpaws fruit, the trees, how to grow them, I'm happy to talk about them. You might also consider joining the Facebook group, Pawpaw Fanatics. There's a ton of really, as the name implies, big pawpaw fans there. So it's a great wealth of knowledge as well. So there's a great community of people out there that are really into this fruit and getting it into the hands of people that really want to try it. So that's what it's all about. Kind of share the pawpaw love, and so more and more people can experience this really cool and native American fruit.